Have you ever heard of invasive species? Well, they're pretty much just plants from other places. But when these plants get moved away from their home ecosystems into new ones, sometimes they can harm their new ecosystem by growing out of control and killing the plants that were already there. Hey, my name is Amber, and my research advisor and I looked at one invasive species called winged burning bush. Burning bush is from East Asia, but when it was introduced to the US in the late 1800s for landscaping, it began to overrun our natural ecosystems. Since it has no native predators, can reproduce rapidly, and can live in poor soils, burning bush can be hard to get rid of. We wanted to find out if root removal or cutting were the best technique for removing burning bush, and whether the ecosystem it was removed from became healthier or more degraded after its removal. To find out, we set up a research experiment across from the Westfield State University campus in a floodplain ecosystem. Students in spring of 2021 removed the burning bush, and my advisor and I began studying the response of the ecosystem in June 2021. We had a control area where none of our burning bush had been removed, and a treatment area where all or some of it had been removed. We used two methods to determine the health of the ecosystem. The first was to set up 18 1-meter radius plant establishment plots in both the control and treatment areas, and in each of these plots we identified and measured all of the plant growth over the summer. The second method was to measure tree growth. To do this, we built 40 dendrobands, which encircle a tree's trunk at diameter at breast height and which stretch outwards as the tree grows. 20 were located in the control area and 20 in the removal area. We used calipers to measure this outward stretch over time. At the start of our project, we hypothesized that root removal would be the most effective removal technique, and that trees in the treatment area would show the greatest amount of growth because burning bush would not be using up resources like sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. After collecting our data, we found that our hypothesis was partially correct. Both removal techniques were effective, but the difference between their success was considered not significant. So we can't say for certain which method was best, only that they both worked. Meanwhile, trees in the treatment area where burning bush had been removed showed the greatest amount of growth, but this difference was also considered not significant. Luckily, we will continue to do our research throughout the year to confirm that these differences in treatment types are having real impacts. Now, why should any of this matter to you? Well, it's important because invasive species like burning bush are one of the greatest threats to our natural ecosystems, and you can help stop their spread by doing a few things. The first is to always do your research before planting something in your garden or yard. It only takes a few minutes to Google where a plant's native range is. The second is if you know you have an invasive species in your yard, find out the best way to remove it. Research like this project is what provide us with removal techniques you can find online. You can also join local removal efforts. And finally, don't be a carrier. Always check over your gear and clothes when you've been outside to make sure you're not spreading any seeds unintentionally. We wanted to research burning bush to help others prevent its spread into local ecosystems, and we can't do that without a huge amount of help. Hopefully, next time you're on a hike or stroll, you'll know more about your natural surroundings and what needs to be done to protect them. So, that's all for now. Thanks for listening.
Created using Powtoon.